Shooter Breeze topic number 4 this week says HBCUs being targeted, or are these all normal incidents? Can we talk about it? So on the screen is a tweet from our boy Afro Native World. He says 2 Maryland HBCUs had shootings in the last week, but that's barely even covered. Morgan State and Bowie State. So Bowie State had to post this tweet on October 10th, saying starting at 12 p.m. today, all classes for the rest of the week are canceled to provide additional time for everyone to address their mental well-being. We encourage you to take this time to connect with resources, reach out to the friends and loved ones, or seek support if needed, right? So apparently there was some violence on both of these campuses, Morgan State and Bowie State. I saw an article somewhere. I saw an article that was talking about the Morgan State incident, but I didn't see the Bowie State one. But it's interesting. Is this one of those kind of things where you stage or influence these kind of events to make people afraid of attending these institutions? Is that how they're going to go about trying to destroy these institutions going forward? You know, good question. Buana, what say you?
Well, I wish my brother Bakari, he know he's listening. He's an expert in HBCUs. But I do think that there. I don't know. I really don't know, Coco. If I was to be honest with you, I don't know if someone is actually staging these things to cause HBCU universities to suffer and cause our attendance to be lower. I really don't know. I don't know. I do know how HBCUs usually market. They market globally in terms of going to the black world and appealing to the black world, that students from different parts of Africa and the Caribbean could come and participate and come to their schools. So I don't know if it'll affect them globally outside, from outcome people coming from outside of the United States coming in and attending their schools and classes. But internally, locally, I don't know what it will be. Or I don't know if it is an actual attack against HBCUs, because there are people within internally in the United States who sees institutions like HBCUs as a threat because they know, if you fix a person academically, black person academically, then you make them competitors within the United States and externally and globally, really, to be honest with you. So I think that has always been a threat to certain groups within the United States to have an intelligent black class of people, and usually the best and brightest have like came out of HBCU. So where you have strong academic institutions internally in the United States, they really see that as a threat. Especially you have these hillbillies who really would like to get rid of these kinds of institutions within the United States. So I really don't know. I would just have to pass on that expertise to maybe Jabari or Black Steel. They probably could speak on it much better than I can, but I'll leave it there.
While you were speaking, Buana, I looked up to see if there was any video on these things, and it seems like there's one here. It's a 3-minute video. I'll play it real quick before we go to Black Steel and hear what he has to say.
Closer to home, Bowie State University canceled classes for the rest of the week. Both Bowie State and Morgan State universities are dealing with the aftermath of gun violence on campus, and it is raising questions about security. Fox 5's Melanie Almwick joining us live now from Bowie. Good morning, Mel.
Good morning. And we have seen a very visible security presence here on the campus of Bowie State University. It is still very quiet this morning. University leaders blame the shooting here on an outside element. And this conversation is going to be going on public universities where people can normally just drive in and out, walk in and out. How far can you go to cut down on access? University leaders have heard from students and families both here and at Morgan State University. And here they decided decided that the student body needed just a little bit more time to regroup and to heal. Bowie State's campus went into lockdown Saturday night after two 19-year-old men were shot outside the Center for Business and Graduate Studies building 11:30 p.m. in the midst of homecoming festivities, just days after there was another shooting, a prior shooting at Morgan State. Now, investigators say the victims are not Bowie State students, and they do believe the shooting was an isolated incident, but they just really wanted to let everyone take some time off to reflect and to get their mental health in order.
With the incident that happened on Saturday, students are feeling a little bit, still a little shooken up at the same time, but they're feeling a little calm because of the services that we're providing for them.
I think the students just needed a little bit more time to process what happened, and also to gather their thoughts and their feelings about what occurred.
Now, in Baltimore, classes at Morgan State University have resumed after 5 people, 4 of them students, were shot on campus last Tuesday during a homecoming celebration there. Baltimore City Police released these new images of the suspects still at large. It was the 3rd year in a row that gunfire marred homecoming celebrations there. During a campus listening session last night, university leaders announced they plan to build a wall around the northeast part of the campus and have security officers at entrances and exits, along with other upgrades. And again, the president there saying they really want to try to cut down on that flow of public access. There's going to be a question there about how far they can go. Bowie State will also be having conversations about hardening campus security. In the meantime, they will also be providing more mental health resources to students here on campus and for those who have left campus in the meantime during this extra week off. If you want to see those photos again of the suspects in the Morgan State shooting, we have them on our website, fox5dc.com.
All right, Melanie, thank you for all the updates there. Appreciate it.
So, Brother Bakari is in the chat. He says the white boy that shot up Dollar General in Florida tried to get on Edward Waters' campus first. Bakari, like the pro-black perspective, thinks that the shooter just wanted to kill black folks. Bakari says it's an attack on black people, but I think the biggest threat to HBCUs is black people. Yeah, but you know, Bakari's stance on that, and I don't disagree either. Bakari says they had threats from white people 2 years ago, calling schools saying they were coming to shoot it up, but the schools canceled class for 2 days, right? Lastly, pro-black perspective says that's what I mean about some folk here. Men and women are toxic. Why we killing each other? So I'll continue to Black Steel's thoughts, and then I'll double back to Buana. Black Steel, what say you?
Okay, so I heard about the shooting at Morgan. I follow 2 professors who teach at Morgan, Dr. Jared Ball and Dr. Stacy Patton, and they both teach there. So I knew about the shooting at Morgan. I didn't know about the one at Bowie. So I'm wondering if maybe it's just some gang violence that's spilling over onto the campus. I don't know if they're being targeted, because a lot of times you have, for some reason, and this is one thing I noticed, maybe it's just me, a lot of colleges, not just black colleges, but a lot of colleges are in very rough neighborhoods. So I'm wondering if maybe it wasn't like the shooter in, say, in the HBCU in Jacksonville, where he went on the campus with the intention to kill black people, and then he got turned away by security. I'm wondering if it's just, some overall violence to the community that's spilling over onto the campus. Either way, I think it's terrible. I think that they need to bump up security. That's what they got to do. But I think that HBCUs are targeted, but they're not being targeted by random shooters, but they are being targeted, I think, by the government. I know there's been, ever since they appealed affirmative action, there have definitely been some right-wing efforts to attack anything dealing with addressing any type of racial imbalance. I would say, just in general, that they are being targeted. There have been HBCUs that lost their accreditation. They've lost, a lot of them have lost their funding. And now that there has been renewed attacks by conservatives to attempt to ignore racism in America, they're attacking any type of scholarships, for example, that are geared towards just for Black students. So there's one scholarship that's set up for Black women. Now they're suing and trying to eliminate it. So yeah, I definitely feel like this is something that they are being attacked. Oh, why did I say gang related? I don't know. It may not be gang related. It could just, that maybe that's that Euro indoctrination I still got to fight every day. But I would say, no, I don't know if it's something that these students just came onto the campus to cause problems, or was it just a argument that kind of spilled over onto the school? I don't know for sure. Maybe that's why. Um, that's why they didn't come on. It wasn't on the news like it should have been. But no, but I definitely do think they're being targeted, but not by shooters, but by the elements of the state and reactionary elements within the government who want to eliminate anything particularly for Black people. So if it's a school for Black people, if a scholarship, or if anything specifically for Black people, they want to eliminate that on the thing they're saying that is, quote unquote racist. So I'm glad. In the Morgan State, I heard 4 people got shot, but nobody was killed. So I'm grateful for that. Nobody lost their life. But if they need to bump up security, then that's what they got to do. Um, and I'll go ahead and I'll leave it there. All right, thank you.
Juana, after seeing the video, did you want to add any other thoughts?
No, I think that, like I say, what Carl said and what Brother Bakari said is well founded. Because it could have been young people getting together, and engaging in ridiculous things. Maybe that's why the news didn't pick it up. But on the other end, as Black Steel was saying, the government does not necessarily want um, the institutions in terms of Black institutions in the United States to be fundamentally strong. So you really can't put a hand on where this is coming from because it happened back to back from Bowie University to Morgan State. Whereas also when you have these kinds of threats of violence spill over into universities, people look at this. So I would say that the parents of these students to inform their kids to be very cautious and vigilant. If they are able to protect themselves if they can. Don't mix with individuals who are not school oriented, who don't want to go to school to be educated, who just want to go to school to have a good time, to party and dance. Because most of the time, these children have a year. They have a year at these universities, and they end up dropping out and then going off into their individual lives. Be a student. When you're at a university, be a student. Don't be a thug at a university. Thugs and universities don't mix. Go to school to be educated. Go educate yourself to improve your life and make your life better in some way. But I will leave it there, man, because I'll leave it there.
I appreciate that, Buana. Uh, Pro Black Perspective says homecoming shooting reminds me of, quote, get shot at parade in Brooklyn on Labor Day. Yeah, that was a problem for a while here too. He says the reward is only 9,000. That's small for shooters, right? I don't know. I don't think that's small. Maybe a little bit. Maybe 10,000 is what I usually see. If there's no other thoughts there, we're making.
I'm gonna say one thing quick too.
Yes.
Recently in America, they overturned affirmative action, right? And I think that was done. I guess they wanted to eliminate race-based preferences for college admissions. All right. That to me, that was just the first shot. So the desire to eliminate race-based preferences within colleges, and then now you're going to see them coming after HBCUs because they're going to say, why is it you have these particular schools set up just for Black people? And they're going to completely ignore the reasons that these schools even exist. So I think you're going to see, and again, I don't know if the shooting is orchestrated, but you're going to see funding, you're going to see accreditation removed more and more and more from these situations, from these schools. So I'll leave it there.
Appreciate it, Black Steel. Let's go to Shooter Breach topic number 5.